to the tasting room.
The tasting room. I know I say it like Voldemort luring Harry Potter
You do
somewhere.
always sound like Voldemort.
So welcome back to the tasting room. Today we are trying a bourbon that I feel like is rampant on Disney property. Yeah,
every Disney bar, restaurant, resort, cocktail lounge, everywhere has Knob Creek.
Yeah.
And in fact, all of the Orlando area, like Polite Pig and Ravenous Pig, the larger version of Polite Pig down in Winter Park, and the Pig Floyd's, and like every bourbon barbecue everywhere that has money has their own
barrel of it. Yeah, I know that Disney has their own version of it because I always think of this as the Disney bourbon because
Disney has their own Knob Creek and they have their own Woodford.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's what they use in the Bloody Mary that you won't drink because you don't like cold tomatoes.
We'll have to go find it to try a pour of that one though. On the town. Those videos are on Patreon when we go out on the town.
So Disney, but more famously, they have their own Knob Creek. But they do have their own Woodford as well. Those are the two brands that Disney has bought into to select their own barrels.
So today we're not trying just the regular Knob Creek though, right?
We are not, no. And honestly, so Steve and I have had a few bottles of Knob Creek over the years. We love the maple, the Knob Creek maple, which is like aged a second time in maple casks. So that one's really good. I don't know that we've had a whole bottle of the standard Knob Creek, but this one I picked up because we were in that sort of mode of loving toasted things, right? So we love the Elijah Craig Toasted, which is aged a second time in a charred barrel. The Woodford Double Oak, which is aged a second time in a charred barrel. And so this is Knob Creek's kind of answer to that fad, if you will. So this is called the Knob Creek Quarter Oak. It says limited release, but that just means per year. They only do it like one time.
So many barrels a year.
Like usually a release of a standard bottle will be a spring, summer, fall. They'll do it like 3 times a year. Yeah. So like with the Elijah Craig, they have A, B, C barreling seasons.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
So if you see the little numbers on the thing that say like A121, that means like spring of 2021 is when it was barreled.
Gotcha.
But anyway, so the Knob Creek Quarter Oak, they're a little mysterious with this. It's not all of it that's been aged a second time in a second cask, only a portion, but they won't say how much. They just say a portion of this bourbon has been rested a second time in quarter oak barrel casks, meaning a quarter of the size of a standard barrel. So there's more exposure to the wood and a faster osmosis in and out of the wood. So it's supposed to take on more of those oak flavors.
The guy who is their master distiller, Fred Noe, he's a 7th generation master distiller. Isn't that insane?
Yeah, like that's like in the family.
Yeah.
It's in your blood.
Yeah, that's from the beginning. Wow.
Now, Knob Creek is distilled by Beam Suntory, which makes Jim Beam and Suntory, the Japanese whiskeys and all of those sorts of things. So it is a big name backer on kind of like how Disney owns Marvel and Star Wars and stuff. Beam Suntory owns Knob Creek.
All right, let's try it.
This is 100 proof, just if that matters to anybody. So I guess it could be bottled in bond, but they don't label it as such. Now, the unique thing about Knob Creek, you always get that nose.
Did you get caramel?
That's very caramel scented, and that's characteristic of all the Knob Creek varieties, not just the quarter oak.
It's like a strong caramel too, it's nice.
This one is a very unique
smell.
flavor to it. Like it doesn't necessarily taste the way it smells. No,
I feel like I can taste the wood.
Yeah, well, I mean you should, because they go through all that extra effort to put wood in there.
The wood.
Yeah, it is wood forward, but the wood really only comes out on the finish. The initial flavors are those like the bam caramel right in your face, and then it's pretty a short slope, short and steep to get down to that finish of the very oaky wood flavors.
Yeah, it's like when you smell it, it's got that smell of like, I don't know if your mom had them in your yard or anything like that, but it was big to do the half bourbon. I don't know if they were bourbon.
Wine barrels,
the wood barrels.
usually.
Yeah.
In Plymouth, they were wine barrels.
Yeah, and wine barrels everywhere. So people like to do the thing where they either had them tipped over and like the thing was like going in, or you had them standing up.
It's still there. This does have some of those warm, spicy characteristics.
Yeah.
So I know when you were talking
This
to
would
your
be good in a hot toddy.
hot toddy, it'd be great in tea drinks.
Tea, yes, yeah.
Like iced tea.
I was just thinking like
Arnold
a chai tea,
Palmer
maybe.
type things, chai, pumpkin stuff.
This might be real good in pumpkin stuff, honestly, because it's like it's not intense, but it's got that kind of.
It's like a warmth,
Yeah.
a baking spice warmth.
Yes.
And that only comes out in the mid to end finish of the
And like
sip.
an apple spice might be
Yeah.
good in here because it's got a little bit of that caramel, like a caramel apple thing or something.
It surprisingly has almost no fruit forward flavors.
No.
Though. Like where a lot of these have that like cherry or apple-y
Yeah.
or sort of pineapple note. There's zero fruit in
No,
this at all.
I get that caramel, and then like as it rests in my mouth, like you said, it's got that finish of like that wood starts to creep in a little bit, you know, but not in like an intrusive way. Just like this was in this barrel. I can kind of get that flavor because sometimes that's a turnoff for me. But honestly, this is pretty good.
Maybe that's why they only blend a portion in the second barrels, and they do add back some of the traditional straight bourbon with that blend.
I think we're gonna have to try the regular bourbon at some point too, though, because now I'm interested. I like this one enough that I'm interested in that.
Well, this one MSRP is for $50. The standard Knob Creek is about $35. So it's not bad. But the Quarter Oak is, like I said, because it's considered a limited release and they only do it once a year, it is that little bit higher.
This is another one of those crazy, like, deceivingly small bottles, but it's 750 milliliters, right? Like, it's like, here's your medicine.
Do you think that there's somewhere out there that somebody's like, what is every weird possible shape that can equal 750?
If they're bottles that are like, woo! And they're like, that's 750.
What?
Yeah.
I saw a bottle of it was like cognac or something, but it's shaped like a blown glass dragon. That was at Costco yesterday.
A dragon?
Yeah. Like cognac, and the thing was like this big, but you could tell it's only like a little tube of.
Holy smokes.
Where the liquor goes.
That's cool though. But I bet that's one of those things where you start to worry where you're like, is it all show and no taste?
Probably.
Because you're like, is that where you? Because if it's really good, do you need you need a bottle? I think that's got enough flash to attract someone at a shelf, but not too much.
That follows through with that.
Yeah.
On the inside.
Because otherwise, that means if it's so good on the inside,
then
why are you doing this money on that?
Into a dragon. Yeah.
Because you could charge more just for the bourbon with doing less, and we know people are cheap.
Cheap. Anyway, that is the Knob Creek Quarter Oak. Definitely a unique release from Knob Creek. If you're a fan of regular Knob Creek, definitely try out the Quarter Oak if you see it around. I have tried the Knob Creek 10-year. I didn't love it as much as I like the Quarter Oak. So,
okay.
I would say personal preference, keep on the cheap end because the 10-year gets up around $80, $90. So
I'd be interested to just try the basic one now.
Knob Creek.
Yeah, Knob
and the
Creek.
maple.
Yeah,
the maple.
and the maple. Okay, we'll have to get to those. So, well, there it is, Knob Creek, Quarter Oak. As always, if you like this video, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget about our Patreon. You'll keep us in our drinking habits. That's patreon.com/The Bourbon Study. We do fun videos every week.
Our mothers are both in denial about.
Yeah, apparently. So, thanks, Mur. Thanks, Sandy. So, thank you, everybody out there, for watching this, and we'll be back with a pretty fun drink with this one, I think.
I agree. Cheers.
Yeah, okay.
I knew you were waiting for it.